Boi, boi, hamakar. Boi, boi, hakala. Shalom aleichem, malachei hashalom. Hachama merosh ha'ilanot nistalka. Bואו ונצא לקראת שבת המלכה. הנה היא יורדת, הקדושה הברוכה. ועם המלאכים צבא שלום ומנוחה. בואי בואי המלכה, בואי בואי הכלה. שלום עליכם מלאכי השלום. The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome the Sabbath, our Queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her the angels of peace and of rest. Draw near, and here abide. Draw near, O Sabbath bride. Peace also to you angels of peace. צמרין מלין מלווה את משך הצללים. ערב בא, ערב בא, ערב בא, ערב בא. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Erev ba. Erev ba. Erev ba. Erev ba. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Come on in. Shalom, everybody. Come on in, have a seat. Those who are still outside are really missing something special. Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Malachei, Malachei, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Page 6 in your Sidorim. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamla HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamla HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni leshalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leshalom, Tzedchem leshalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon. Malachei Hamla HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome. Very wonderful to be with all of you tonight. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to assume that it was okay for me to take off my jacket.
I was
It's
noticing
warm.
that you are going informal tonight.
I am.
And I'm a little bit envious of that.
All right. If the
That's
cantor takes
easy.
off his jacket also, you'll understand.
Yeah, it's easier said than done because I have to shed
Because
many things.
you're all wired up. Anyway, it's very nice to be with all of you. Special welcome for anyone who's here for the first time. If you are, I'm Rabbi Steve Cohen. This is Cantor Mark Childs. Rabbi Daniel Brenner, the third member of our clergy team, is with Open Door. That's the young adult program, the young adult community that actually Rabbi Brenner has built up together with many members of that community over the past few years. So they're having their own Friday night gathering tonight. I want to especially welcome the teaching staff of our education program. It's called Nitivot, which means pathways, and they're here as part of a teacher training time, and I'd actually like to invite all of the teachers to come up, if you would, and lead us in lighting the Shabbat candles. Franny, would you be willing to do the actual lighting? And if you, there's actually a reading in the book that we do first. We are on page 8. Lori, here, you can hold this one. Okay. And maybe if the teaching team. Oh, and another member. Oh, and Elise. Elise, we're honoring you. Just here. While Elise is taking the final few steps here, I guess I want to take this moment to just say what I think we all know, but we tend to forget, which is how much we depend on teachers. You know, these are the people who are creating the future of our people, of our religion, of our heritage. It's this group right here. In partnership with parents, in partnership with the children, in partnership with the rest of the Hillel it's just at a Hillel event.
Oops.
The rest of the CBB community, but we're so grateful to you, for taking on that responsibility. Thank you so much. So yes, if you would, please read on page 8. 1, 2, 3.
Almighty God, allow us to rest on this Shabbat. May the light of the candles drive out from within us all impatience and sorrow. Send your blessings to us and to our children, that we may walk in the ways of your Torah, your light.
Okay, thanks. And Franny, if you'll light. And then the cantor will lead us. We'll all sing the blessing together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. So from the bottom of page 9 into the top of page 10. Lechu neranen al Adonai nariya letzor yishenu מקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נרייה לו. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ. שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום, ישועתו שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ. שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום. ישועתו Hoy bezmir yallay 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 yallay.
We are on the bottom of page 10, and Elizabeth will lead us.
God's earth alive with joy, islands laughing, swirling cloud and mist, the throne of justice and fire walking before.
A lightning bolt flashed like the sun in the night. The land saw and trembled. The mountains melted like wax.
People looked to the sky, and they saw a heavenly world of color and light. Zion heard, and she laughed. The daughters of Judah, they danced.
God loved us.
Hate evil.
Thank you. One day soon, they will harvest in joy. Bottom of page 11.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. Oh, la 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 la
We are on page 12, and Amy will lead us.
A David song. God's voice upon the waters, the God of glory thunders.
God's voice uproots the cedars, splits open the cedars of Lebanon, Mount Lebanon and Hermon. They leap like a calf and dance.
God's voice in flames of fire shatters the wilderness silence. Thunder rolls in the Kadesh desert.
Beneath the storm, gazelles give birth. God strips the forest bare. In the celestial temple, the burning stars sing glory.
God sat above the flood and will dwell on high forever. Give strength unto your people and bless your people with peace.
Ana bechoa Gidulat yemincha Tatir tzerura Kaberena Amecha sarvenu גדולת ימינך תתיר צרורה. קבר עינת עמך צגרנו תרנו נורא. שבתנו קבר ושמע צעקתנו יודע תעלומות. אנא בכוח גדולת ימינך תתיר צרורה. קבר עינת עמך סגבנו טהרנו נורא. On page 14, Lecha Dodi, we sing these words together and welcome the Shabbat as a groom welcomes its bride. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabla. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה, לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, שבת, נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, Penei Shabbat, nekabla.
And now, having greeted the divine presence, turn to the people around you and greet them. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom to our friends on Zoom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, guys.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Zoomers.
Howard. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you. Good to be with you. About love and revelation. We're on page 18 and we remain standing. Remain standing. Amen.
Te bechayechon uvyomechon uvchayedecho beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv veimru Yehi shmei rabba mevarach Le'alam olal me'amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudesha B'richu leila min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Ramiran be'alma ve'imru.
Page 20.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. We're on page 22.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam melech haolam asher בדברו מעריב ערבים אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתבונה משנה עיתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים משמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו בורא יום ולילה גולה אור מבני חושך וחושך מבני אור ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים.
Amen. We're on page 25. Something wonderful happened this year, which is that a young woman who grew up in our congregation named Leah Savage came back to Santa Barbara, came back to CBB, and she's now our Assistant Director of Education. And I'm going to, yay! That's a dream come true. So Leah is going to lead us on page 25.
The Torah was first given from mother to child, and then again by a man to his friend. Love and language come into the world together.
In text and commandment, passed down with love by parents and teachers, we have heard and have learned your word.
Now comes our turn to reveal Torah. Late at night and in the first hours of the morning, we will wonder and argue and celebrate your teachings.
For they are our life and the length of our days. Upon our lips by day and in our dreams at night. Loving teacher is
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Page 28. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta ba'am בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני Adonai Elohechem.
Page 30. Ina Ettenberg will lead us.
In each of our lives, we come at last to a limit where we are forced to stop running and to cry out to God. How many times have you saved us and pulled us from the fist of danger? We lose count of your miracles.
Our lungs fill with life, our feet grip the earth. He turned the world of land and sea against Pharaoh, and wrought signs and wonders to teach his soul.
We saw your power revealed at the shore of the sea. There we danced and sang a new song to you.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehda b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, osef ele, nora tehilot, osef ele. Malchutecha Ra'u vanecha Bokei Ahab livnei Moshe Zelianu ve'ameru Adonai yimlo le'olam va'ed. That was a little musical reminder for you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Cantor.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Mehamidenu Malkeinu lechaim Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Mehamidenu Malkeinu lechaim Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu lechaim Ushmor tzetenu Lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam.
Give us a night of peace, God, and bring us life in the morning. Spread over us your quiet tent. Take our hand, lead us safe through the night.
Be above us, drive away sickness, swords, go before us, fly behind us. Let the spreading darkness be the shadow.
Tonight our souls fly far. In our dreams we leave this place. Guide us home at dawn. Bring us life and make us whole. You are blessed, God, who watches over the people Israel and over Jerusalem.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Mehamidenu Malkeinu lechaim Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Mehamidenu Malkeinu lechaim Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים asa Adonai et hashamayim et haaretz uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayi nafash uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayi nafash.
We've come now to the Amidah. This is the section of the service that we pray silently in the evening. In the book, it goes from page 36 to page 50. Take it at your own pace in Hebrew or in English, or if you prefer, just close the book and take this as time for private prayer.
Adonai sefatai tivtah ufi agite ilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Say shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We turn now to the Mishaberach, our prayer for healing. The words of the Mishaberach can be found on page 50 of the prayer book. And this evening, as we offer the Mishaberach, we're praying for healing for Sharon Lang, Ravid Raphael, Marlene Shan, Elizabeth Mason, Joe Mason, Ruvain Pesach ben Leah, Moshe Halevi ben Bela, Shirley Morrison, Debbie Spungen, Marilyn Margulius, Gloria Kaufman, Andy Saffer, Barbara Williams, Julie Ernstein, Yehudit Naomi Bat Shulamit, Abe Presser, Misha Zuberman, and Zev Nathan. And if you'd like to add the name of anybody else that you're thinking of who's in need of healing, please do so.
Craig Morehouse, Marty Shapiro, David Newland, Nancy Mann, Donnie Hammock, Claudia Macbeth, and Barbara Goldstein.
We'll sing together on page 50.
Mishaberach Avotenu Bekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our life a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Tonight I'd like to share a story. It's a story straight out of this week's Torah portion. And in part it's in honor of our teachers because it's one of the great moments in which Moshe, emerges as perhaps our greatest teacher ever. So here's the story. This week's portion, by the way, is called Nitzavim Vayelech. It's a double portion. These two portions, Nitzavim and Vayelech, some years we read them separately. This year we read them together. We are almost at the very, very end of the Torah. Most of you are aware, we begin reading the Torah every year in late September or early October, and we read all the way through the Torah once each year. And so here we are. It's now September, second week of September. We are approaching the very, very, very end. And in fact, according to Rashi, the great biblical commentator from the Middle Ages, this happens on the last day of Moses' life. On the last day of Moses' life, he has been throughout the book of Deuteronomy attempting to impart the essence of his message to the people. The entire book of Deuteronomy takes place at the end of the journey, at the end of the 40 years traveling through the wilderness. 40 years earlier, the Israelites left Egypt. The exodus from Egypt through the parted waters of the Red Sea, came out into the wilderness, arrived at Mount Sinai. That all happened 40 years earlier. And now 40 years of journeying through the wilderness have passed. Moses is 120 years old. He's the last of his generation, virtually. There are a couple of other people, Caleb and Joshua, who are also still alive, but basically Moses is the last of the Mohicans, and he is speaking to the new generation. The entire book of Deuteronomy is Moses. He's teaching. He's attempting to bring the new generation, the children of the people who came out of Egypt 40 years earlier. He's now talking to those children who were born in freedom and who have now become the new adult generation. And this is the generation, these are the people who are going to go into the promised land. They're standing at the border. They're standing at the border of the promised land. He's about to die. He has been told by God that he is not going to go into the land. That has been decreed. He tried to get God to change God's mind, and no, that wasn't going to happen. And so Moses knows that he's about to die. Everybody knows that he's about to die, and the people are about to go into the land without him. And so he's speaking to them, the whole book of Deuteronomy. And by the way, remember, 40 years earlier, when Moses had been summoned by God to be the leader of the people, to lead the people out of slavery, he had protested and said, "Why me? I am lo ish devarim anochi. I am not a person of words. I don't know how to communicate." So that's the way he starts his career. But at the end, 40 years later, the entire book of Deuteronomy are Moses' final speeches to the people. And, you might think that a lot of speeches is boring. It can be, I suppose. But Deuteronomy contains many of the most powerful teachings, many of the most beautiful, poetic, and powerful teachings in all of Judaism, including, by the way, the Shema comes from Deuteronomy. Moses' final words to the people. Anyway, in this portion, now Moses has been speaking the whole book of Deuteronomy, and now we come to the end of his life. It's according to Rashi, it's the last day of Moses' life, and he summons the entire people together, and he enumerates all of the different groups that are there. It's not just the adult men. It's everybody. Women, men, children, the leaders, and also the wood choppers, and also the people who draw the water. It's the whole people, including, by the way, the non-Israelites who are there with them. He says, all of you. And you are here today, remember, it's the new generation, to enter into the covenant. This had happened 40 years earlier at Mount Sinai with the first generation to come out of Egypt. That generation died. And so what's at stake now is, will this new generation continue the covenant. Moses summons them and summons them together and says, you are entering into this covenant. And by the way, he says, it's interesting, it's the one place in the Torah where Moses refers to us sitting here today. Because he says, I'm summoning not only all of you who are standing here today, but everyone who is not yet here. That would be us. And what Moses offers the people as his final words is sort of a stunning prophecy. Remember, they're about to reach their destination. They're about to cross the finish line that they have been journeying toward for 40 years, the promised land, the land flowing with milk and honey. It's this vision that he has been articulating and that they have been moving toward. They're about to cross the finish line, and Moses says he offers them a prophecy of the future in the land and beyond. In his prophecy, in his speech to the people, it's a heartbreaking message. It's both heartbreaking and also hopeful. Here's what he says. He says to them, you're going into this land. You're going into the promised land. And you won't stay there forever. A time will come in the distant future where you will alienate yourselves from God and you will go into exile again. You know, we don't usually tell this story because it's so shocking. It's as though David Ben-Gurion, in declaring the state of Israel in 1948 said, and this won't last forever. I don't think he would have done that. But that's what Moses says to the people. He says, you're going in and it won't last forever. A time will come where you will go into exile again. That's what he offers them. That's what he predicts and prophesies. He says, and you will go into exile to the far distant corners of the earth, and people will come to this land and they'll look at the desolation and they'll ask themselves, wow, what did this people do to make God so angry? That's the vision of the future that Moses offers. And then he makes one more sort of move in his speech. He introduces a new idea. A new idea in the Torah, a new idea in Judaism, which becomes central to this religion. What he says is, even there, even in the most distant, most extreme exile, even in Santa Barbara, California, that's about as far as you can get from the land of Israel. In your most distant exile, even there, in that time and place of extreme distance from God, something will happen inside of you. Something will happen inside of you. Your heart will wake up and you will return to God. This is when Moses speaks for the first time, the first and only time in the whole Torah, of the religious, psychological phenomenon of teshuvah, of return to God. Moses says, even in that most distant exile, something will awaken inside of you, and you will return to God, and God will bring you back. So on the last day of his life, Moses offers the people this double, this double heartbreaking and hopeful prophecy. Your future includes exile, and your future includes the possibility of return. And it's actually quite incredible that this is the passage that we always read on the Shabbat before Rosh Hashanah, because we're entering the season of Teshuvah. We are entering the time of the year where we ask ourselves, you know, are we capable of change? Are we capable of return? And we read Moses' prophecy, which is, you will find yourselves in exile, and you will find within yourselves the possibility of change, of returning to God, returning to, and this is what we are engaged in right now as a community, as a Jewish people throughout the world. We are seeking the experience of return to the people in our lives that we are distant from, of returning to community, of returning to Judaism, and returning to God. And that's the promise that Moses gives the people on the last day of his life. So, Shana Tova, and Shabbat Shalom. We'll turn now to the Aleinu, page 120, and we rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated. Page 121. This palace, blue curtain of sky, rock foundation of earth, conceals and reveals the presence of God. All is God. There is nothing else. As it is written, make yourself aware. Awaken your heart to this. God fills the heaven and earth. There is nothing else. You are our hope for a better world, in which the false gods that divide us will disappear, and the human family will abandon our old hatreds and fears. Litaken olam, to heal this fractured world, we need vision and hope. We still hold fast to the ancient prophecy. A time will come of a world at peace. On that day there shall be one God, and the name of God shall be one.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Page 122. If you are saying Kaddish this evening for someone you love, please rise when you hear your loved one's name read. We are in the first week of mourning, the period of Shiva, for Irene Hymanson. We're in the first month of mourning, the period of Shloshim, for Irma Jerkowitz, John Vance Israel, and Lottie Garber. We're in the first 11 months of saying Kaddish for Claire Goldstein, Jessica Glick, Bobby Crute, Lanny Feder, Nancy Lander, Seymour Bachmuth, Elon Levy, Ira Weinstein, Julie Nadell, Bobby Rosenblatt, Stan Hargendorf, Freda Spurka, Sergey Cutliar, Anne Lewin Benham, Thelma Rare, Leo Gans, Sam Stein, Roger Katz, Edward Abbott, Anita Bessman, Freda Meisel, Rose Armin Edelson, Bernie Friedman, Nora Encelovich, Bedane Bynes, Natalie Meyerson, Ken Hartok. And we're observing the art site, the anniversary of the passing of Matt Abrams, Maury Adler, Gary Berenstein, Ruth Barroway Goldberg, Rabbi Isaac Bernstein, Aviva Bernstein, Milton Book, Doris Cohen, Marilyn Epstein, Anne Feingold, Murray Friedman, Rebecca Gelberg, Rena Jendell, Alan Greer, Dave Halpern, Fred Percal, Mildred Siegel, Thelma Sinrod, Geraldine Toscher. And if you'd like to add the name of anybody else that you're remembering or whose name I mispronounced, please go ahead and mention their name out loud.
Patricia Hall.
And now please follow your own custom. Either rise or remain seated for the Mourner's Kaddish, page 122. Yitgadal v'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirute, v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam ulalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, Shmei dekudishah, brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, the Amiran Ba'alma ve'imru, Amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba min Shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom b'imramav, hu ya'aseh Shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Amen. May the one who creates peace in the cosmos grant peace to us, to all Israel, and to the entire human race. And we all say,
Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. There's a lot going on, folks. So check the temple website, but just to highlight a few things. Tomorrow night, Slichot. Tomorrow night is Slichot, which is a beautiful, wonderful ritual that always occurs on the Saturday night before Rosh Hashanah. And this year, it's going to feature, well, the usual prayers and readings and music, but also a workshop on forgiveness, led by the cantor and me and Barbara Katz, a member of our community. On Sunday morning, I think most of you are aware, but if you're not, if you would like to join me, and I think it's going to be about 20 people from our congregation at the Santa Barbara Cemetery for about an hour. Sunday morning at 10:30. It's traditional. It is traditional. Jewish communities all over the world have this custom of going to the cemetery before Rosh Hashanah to connect with our friends and family who have passed away, and also to remind ourselves that we're not going to live forever. So it's a beautiful way of preparing for Rosh Hashanah. This is the first year we're doing it here in Santa Barbara, and I think it's going to be very meaningful. So if you have not yet let me know that you're coming, please send me an email just so that I know about how many to expect. That's Sunday morning. A week from tonight, folks, see you at the Arlington. That's where we are this year. You know, there was no way we're going to fit into this building for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and we're very, very fortunate that David Corwin and the Corwin family have made the Arlington Theater available to us for all of our, Rosh Hashanah evening and morning, and also Yom Kippur as well. Second day Rosh Hashanah, which is a week from Sunday, will be at Hillel in Isla Vista. So I think that is it for the announcements. Again, welcome to our teachers. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being our teachers. And Cantor? Please join us afterwards in the social hall for oneg and dinner.
I was going to say exactly that. But before that, or as we move down, let's all sing on page 124. Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Hashem Malach, B'terem ko Yetzir Nivra, Le'ed Nasa V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra, Ve'achare Kichlol HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Hove, Ve'hu Yeh, Betifara, Ve'hu Echad, Ve'en Sheni, Lehamshilo, Lehachbira, Beli Reshi, Beli Tachlit, Ve'lo Ha'oz, Ve'hamisra, Ve'hu Eli, Ve'chai Goali, Ve'tzur Chevli, Be'yetzara, Ve'hu Nisi, Umanos li, Menarkosi, Be'yom Ekra, Be'yado, Afkin Ruchi, Be'etishan Ve'aira, Ve'im Ruchi Geviati, Adonai li, Ve'lo ira.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
By the way, if you want to join us for Slichot tomorrow night, it's here. It's here in this small chapel off to the side tomorrow night.
Shabbat Shalom, guys.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.